Drinking on Keto. That's the video today. Is that a good title? This video will equip you with all of the things that you might need to know in order to drink on the ketogenic diet without breaking it, and also get the most out of it without suffering the most consequences. I think something important to mention before we get started is that there's no healthy amount of alcohol to drink. However, alcohol forms an important part of many people's hobbies, recreation, activities, customs, etc. So, if drinking is something that you're going to do, this video will inform you on some things that you might need to know, want to know, to drink on the ketogenic diet. A brief note about alcohol itself. When you consume alcohol on the ketogenic diet or not, the alcohol is processed by your liver. It's transformed into another chemical called acetaldehyde. Then that is transformed into acetate, which is burnt off by your body. Now, alcohol is, for all intents and purposes, basically a poison, and your body tries to get rid of it as quick as possible. Since your liver will be handling the removal of the alcohol from your system, it's important to note that during that period of time, the production of ketones might be blunted. That's not particularly relevant, but something interesting to note. So, will alcohol get you out of ketosis? Will alcohol break your state of ketosis? No. Ethanol will not do that. However, there are plenty of things that you might be consuming with your alcohol that will. So, what kicks you out of keto when you're drinking? Well, many cocktails and other drinks have a large amount of carbohydrates with them. Anything that's sweet is likely sweetened with a simple syrup, a sugar, etc. Those are not going to work. Any sweet drink is going to kick you out of ketosis because it's going to have a lot of carbohydrates. Moreover, things like beers, non-light versions, which we'll talk about soon, beers are a very large source of carbohydrates and need to be excluded entirely. Wines can, depending on their variety, have a large amount of carbohydrates in them. Drier varieties have less. As a consequence, if you're going to consume wine, keep it to a lower amount and choose drier varieties. Ciders are almost all going to be off the table. What can we drink? I mentioned previously that you can drink ethanol, as in straight alcohol. If you like straight liquors, well, there's good news. All of those are pretty fine. Things like straight whiskey, straight tequila, perfectly good. Moreover, light beers. Most light beers will have a carbohydrate ratio of around about 2 to 8 per 330 ml bottle or so. You're just going to have to check for the one that you like to drink. Drinking those in moderation are typically fine. The light in the beer refers to its calorie content. The calorie content that's removed from these light beers is usually in the form of carbohydrates, and sometimes a little bit of alcohol is also removed. So light beers will be lower in carbohydrates and also occasionally lower in alcohol, but not always. Check with the specific one that you want to drink. And again, general rule, always check your nutritional labels for the amount of carbohydrates that are in any given drink that you're going to be having. Now we know roughly what we can and we can't drink. Stay away from the sweet things, and if you're going to have sweet things, make sure that they're sugar-free alternatives. For instance, you might like gin and tonics. Have a gin and tonic where the tonic is sugar-free, and you'll probably be fine. Actually, that's not true. You will be fine. I'm not saying probably, I'm just couching everything. Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. It doesn't have carbs. You know what you can drink on keto now, and what you can't. But I think it's very important to know the following. Whilst on keto, you will get a lot drunker a lot quicker than you're used to. Why is that? Well, when in keto, you have removed a large portion, if not the majority, of the glycogen that's stored within your muscles and your liver. That glycogen comes with a large amount of water. You are in a relative state of dehydration compared to what you otherwise would be should you have all of that glycogen, all of that water within you. There are two main considerations when you're on keto and drinking. One, you are going to get a lot drunker than you expect to, a lot quicker. Second, your hangovers are going to be a lot worse. So, first, getting drunker quicker than you think. When you're on keto, you are consuming foods with a much lower volume, typically. You're consuming things that are more calorie dense, but a smaller amount. Moreover, you're going to be eating less food than you normally do. As a consequence, you're going to have less of a buffer within your stomach. If you've ever drunk on an empty stomach before, you know how quickly that can get out of hand. On the ketogenic diet, you're going to have less food in your system. Moreover, that food is going to be comprised of, relatively, to an extreme degree, less carbohydrates. Carbohydrates bring with them water. That water is very important for the second factor, the hangovers. Whilst in a state of ketosis, you're going to have significantly less water in your system. Potentially as much as 5 to 8 kilograms of water can be lost in the ketogenic diet. The reason for that is that you don't have all the glycogen in your body that you previously had. That glycogen comes with water, and that water is shed. So you're in a relative state of dehydration. The main culprit for a hangover is dehydration. So, not only are you going to be getting drunk a lot quicker, you're going to be suffering the effects of your drinking the day after a lot worse. So what are the takeaways? If you're going to drink on the ketogenic diet, make sure to consume a lot more water during the process of your drinking and the day after. Try and have a larger meal before you go out drinking. Try and create a bit of a buffer. Choose drinks that are obviously keto friendly, and maybe try some new things out. Maybe try straight spirits. You might find that you like one. Although maybe that's encouraging too much drinking.
Maybe.
Drinking's bad. Another consideration, whilst you're drinking, and when you get drunk, your inhibitions are lowered. Moreover, oftentimes when people are drunk, they feel more peckish. They crave snacks more frequently. So, combining a state of lowered inhibitions and a greater desire for snacks is a recipe for breaking the diet. So, consider and be cautious of that. Know that you might feel more inclined to consuming carbohydrates in a state of inebriation. All told, a quick summary: don't drink drinks that are sweet, unless that sweetness comes from an artificial sweetener that is safe for keto, which is mostly going to be sucralose and stevia. Do not consume beers unless they are light. Do not consume wines unless they are dry and lower in carbohydrates. Do not consume ciders. Almost all of them are not going to be on the table. It is fine to consume spirits, at least insofar as the ketogenic diet is concerned, but again, there is no healthy amount of alcohol that can be consumed. All alcohol is poison. Second, your hangovers will be worse and you will get drunker quicker than you think. So, stay hydrated, eat a big meal beforehand to blunt your cravings during a state of inebriation and to slow down your state of inebriation. Drink responsibly, always. Text your mom. She probably hasn't heard back from you in a while. Drink water in general. That's just good. Most of your problems will be resolved. Okay. I don't know how much time we have left. The knocking won't stop. He's going to look.
I think maybe neighbors.
Fucking neighbors. Here on this channel, I cover topics and interesting bits of information about the ketogenic diet, guides and information that helps me and others in my life do the diet. If you are interested in the diet as well, stick around. There's plenty to learn, lots to see. And if you have any considerations, questions, or further information, please leave it down below. We'll read it.